A large part of the reason for getting an inspection is not just simply to be advised of this and that. I would describe the process as about 50% discovery and 50% education. To be educated about a house is to really understand what you're doing. It usually results in peace of mind. Whether we find things that are very significant or relatively insignificant, the person goes away going, wow, I feel so much more comfortable because I understand what I'm doing with this house. What the inspector is going to do is basically try to educate the client about the house as much as possible so that they can make a better informed purchase decision. Because a house is a fairly complex set of systems, and the average person doesn't really necessarily understand how they interact with each other. We also help educate them on things they need to be aware of in the first 5 years so they can budget for them. If you're looking at a roof by year 3 or year 4, that $4,000 expense, if you haven't budgeted for it, can be a bit of a surprise and a bit of anguish. In some houses there are issues that may be insurance related, and if you have a problem getting insurance for your house, you may not be able to complete your transaction. If you're doing a brand new house, as in when delivery is being taken from the builder, yes, it's probably good to have an inspector who has familiarity with what are called PDI protocols, pre-delivery inspection protocols, because it is notably different than doing a house that may be only 5 years old. In the sense that the scope of an inspection is to identify major significant items, whereas pre-delivery inspections on brand new homes, there's a little more to it in the sense of understanding what may have been missed during construction and how to get those things rectified. A home inspection is defined as a visual review of the readily accessible aspects of a home. So the inspector is not going to be drilling holes in the walls. They're not going to be moving a bookcase, for instance. They're going to try to look behind it as much as possible. In Ontario, literally anybody can print up business cards and call themselves a home inspector. I think it's very important to have professional affiliations. In Ontario, the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors is basically the regulatory body for inspectors. It is not a mandatory participation. Once you join the association, you are of course coming under their discipline and professional practices reviews, etc., your ongoing education requirements. So that, I think, is one of the things that helps keep an inspector on course to make sure he's learning what he needs to learn. In the case where an inspector is on the wrong end of a large legal judgment, that's where it's very important that the errors and omissions insurance would be there. Having the inspector having E&O insurance is very important to the consumer, because a large judgment without insurance is a piece of paper. With insurance, it is compensation to correct the error. So if an inspector feels he's done wrong, then yes, he should probably step up to the plate and make good on an item. But if an inspector noted a limitation that prevented him from identifying an item, then there are risks involved, and a home inspection helps you reduce the risks of home ownership. It cannot eliminate the risks of home ownership.